Hi everyone, welcome back to Warren's Team Talk. Thank you very much for coming and checking me out. I hope you're having a great day and that you're all fine and well. Thanks very much for coming in. And if you've not come to visit my channel before, I'd like to give you a big warm welcome to Warren's Team Talk. And I hope you enjoy my video. And before we get started, as I always say, and sorry to keep boring you with this and whatnot, but please make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already. Please make sure you put a like on the video, and please make sure you share it around with as many people as you possibly can. And also, don't forget, this is completely free of charge. You don't have to pay for it. It only takes a second to do. And it's completely free. You don't have to. Just because you're subscribing doesn't mean to say you've got to pay a subscription fee. So anyway, that's enough of all that carry on. Let's get on with it. And what I'm doing today is I want to do a preview with you of Arsenal's match against Aston Villa, which is tomorrow night at the Emirates. Only seems like yesterday we were playing against Crystal Palace, but there you go. So we've got a game against Crystal Palace to come up. So, that's going to be very interesting and see what happens. And we got our first chat, and it's the old school gunner. All right, Warren, you had to be. Thank you very much, mate. I'm not sure I describe myself as handsome, but thank you very, very much. It's very kind of you to say that, mate. I'm good, man. I hope you're doing all right as well. I wasn't very well yesterday, but I'm feeling a lot better today, thank God. So it's nice to see you, mate. So let's get stuck into it. We're playing Aston Villa this tomorrow evening. I think it's 8 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Old school. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. So there's been 180 games played between Arsenal and Aston Villa down the years. And Arsenal have won 77 of them. Aston Villa have won 64, and there's been 39 draws. So it's sort of Arsenal, and it backs up my argument. And until Arsene Wenger appeared on the scene, I always believed that Arsenal and Aston Villa were like fairly close to each other. They were like, they'll always be battling like sort of third, fourth place in the table and stuff like that. So they seem to have they seem to have had a good record down the years and whatnot. But anyway, I'm waffling now. But anyway, so we got another comment here, and Old School Gunner says, "I'm doing good, bro. Just back for a walk." Well, I hope you enjoyed it, mate, and I hope you were able to stay safe when you were out walking, because I know it can get a bit wild out there, can't it? I remember what it was like when I was in Colombia, man. You take your life into your hands if you went out walking, that's for sure. And I know I got into trouble a couple of times for going out for a stroll. So fair play to you, mate. Jane Dunlop says, "Hi, Warren. Hope you're well, mate." Yeah, I'm good, thanks, buddy. I enjoyed the stream last night with the Diesel put on. I have to say, though, I only saw a little bit of it because I was feeling quite unwell and I fell asleep. I'm embarrassed to say, so I'm going to watch it again in a little while. I'm sure it was good, though, but it was nice to see him on stream again because I was starting to get worried about the pair of them. So it's good to see that they're okay. Old School Gunner says, "Greetings from Caracas." And greetings from sunny Kent, mate. I hope that Caracas is treating you well and you're enjoying yourself, buddy. And James says, "Hi, Old School. Big up, man." That's nice. Good, mate. And Old School Gunner says, "Yeah, it's 8 p.m. kickoff." Ooh, that's interesting. I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. Old School says, "Hi James, how's life?" So they're having a nice little chat. That's good. Not bad, thanks. Old School. Old School Gunner says, "I go out with just a shorts and t-shirt in the closed estate. There's a checkpoint, so it's cool." Oh, that's all right. That's good. Yeah, I wouldn't like to think that you were putting yourself in danger, mate, because I'd give you a right telling off if I thought that was going on, but fair play. Diesel had several good points last night. Glad to see he's okay. Yeah, me too, mate. I was a bit worried, actually, to be honest. But I guess it's just because they've both been really busy with work and whatnot. Yeah, so it's nice to see that they were back in full effect, as they say. Okay, so let's move on. So Aston Villa's form so far this season, they're sitting currently in 13th position in the Premier League, and in their last 5 Premier League away games, if we start with the oldest one first, they lost 2-1 at Tottenham on the 19th of May last year, so the end of last season. Then at the beginning of this season, they lost 3-2 at Watford. On the 11th of September, they lost 3-0 to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And then they followed that up with a remarkable victory at Old Trafford by 1-0 when Emi Martinez played mind games with Ronaldo and Fernandes. And the result of that was that Fernandes blasted the penalty over the bar, and Emi Martinez became a hero. Well, he certainly became a hero in my eyes anyway. And then on the 3rd of October, Aston Villa lost 2-1 away at Tottenham, which was a bit of a shock to me because I didn't think they'd lose that game, to be quite frank. Yeah, so that's basically what's gone on with Villa this year. So they've got a 0 goal difference, so they've scored as many as they conceded. And then if we look at Arsenal's form, we're currently sitting in 12th position, 1 point above Villa. We've won 3, drawn 2, lost 3, scored 7 and conceded 12. So we've still got a -5 goal difference and 10 points. And in our last 5 Premier League home games, the last home game of the season, we won 2-0 against Brighton. And then on the 22nd of August, our first home game of the season, saw us lose 2-0 at home to Chelsea. And then they followed that up on the 11th of September by beating Norwich 1-0 at home. And then on the 2 weeks, more or less 2 weeks later, we hammered Tottenham by 3-1 at the Emirates. And then on Monday night, we played Crystal Palace at home and managed to scrape a 2-2 draw. So that's the two sides' home form, or our home form, and Villa's away form in our current league positions. So let's get caught up with the comments. So where did we get? So Old School says, tomorrow is a huge challenge. I can't predict this one. Arsenal are brutal at the moment. Yeah, we are, man. It's a bit of a worry, to be quite frank. But I think that Arteta might have his hand forced somewhat with the team selection because of Saka's injury, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen. The trouble is with him, you can never predict what he's going to do, which if it was a decent coach, it'd be a good thing. But with him, it isn't. So I don't know what he's going to do. Old School Gunner says, great content, Warren. Mate, thank you very much for saying that. I wish I believed that because I worry about it sometimes, mate, to be honest. I just think it's a bit naff, but never mind. James says, Villa are too up and down at the moment. Yeah, they are, mate. And that game against Wolves was proof of what you're saying. I mean, they were 2-0 up and strolling, and then, like, within 10 minutes, they were 3-2 down, and they ended up losing the game. It was just mad. Old School Gunner says, Martinez schooled them, master of the mind games. Yeah, he was, but his team let him down badly in their last game when they played Wolves and lost 3-2. But I think he's a quality goalkeeper, and I had this big heated debate with one of my friends about it. She's a massive Liverpool fan, and I was saying to her, that goalkeeper is going to end up at a top side in Europe, like a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, Manchester City, someone like it. Would not surprise me to see him playing at a top one of Europe's top sides, because I think he's that good. And then Old School says no Pepe, please. Well, wait till I do my lineup, mate, and then you'll see what I've done. And then James Dunlop said, I'd be looking at getting the midfield ready for Villa. You can't afford to be overrun again. Exactly, mate. And that's why I've gone for this lineup that I've gone with. So you're going to see in a minute about what I've done. But I'm not looking forward to it, mate, because I think we've got too many weak spineless midfield players. That's the problem. And who don't actually contribute anything to the team. So that's the problem. Old School Gunner says it's a good content. You put a lot of effort in preparation. You know me, I talk straight, Warren. If it was crap, I would tell you respectfully, of course. Thank you, man. And I love that about you. I really do, because that's one thing that I hold really dear, that I like people when they're up front with me and tell me as it is, because I don't like people flaring it up and giving me bullshit. I just want to be told how it is. If I'm talking bollocks, I want to be told, and that's it. End of story. So thank you for that. And something about your content I want to tell you is that I love the way you interact with your audience. I think it's superb. It's really, really good the way that you chat with people and whatnot. And Old School Gunners put in a laughing emoji. Right. Okay, so let's move on to the next bit. So, right, so let's have a look at the recent record between the two sides. So, if we go back to December 2015, I'm going to look at the last 6 games between the two clubs. On the 13th of December 2015, Arsenal beat Aston Villa 2-0 at Villa Park. And then they followed that up the following May, on the 15th of May 2016, with a 4-0 win. I think that even might have been the FA Cup final, where we absolutely battered them. And I personally believe that the Villa were lucky that it was only 4. We could have had 7 or 8 in that game. We absolutely destroyed them. And Alexis Sanchez in that game was just out of this world. He really was. On the 22nd of September 2019, Arsenal won 3-2 against Aston Villa. And that would be the last time that Arsenal would beat Aston Villa. And then on the 21st of July 2020, Aston Villa beat Arsenal 1-0 at Villa Park. And that was the game that helped secure Villa's stay in the Premier League when they were fighting against relegation. And I think it was Jack Grealish who scored the goal that day even. And then on the 8th of November 2020, Aston Villa destroyed Arsenal 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium. And I remember that game, and I remember because I was watching the watch-along on Diesel and the Claude and the Bansta channel. And Arsenal were like about 20 minutes to go, something like that. I think we were 2-0 down at home, and we were still playing 10 men behind the ball. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I remember the game as well because Jack Grealish absolutely destroyed Hector Bellerin in that game. And then finally, on the 6th of February this year, Aston Villa beat Arsenal 1-0 again at Villa Park. So I can see there's lots of chats rolling in. So let's catch up with a few of those. I mean, there's quite a few of them, isn't there? Oh dear. So we've got Taib has come in with the chat. Hi Taib, how you doing, mate? He said Arsenal FC club is run by arseholes. Absolutely right, my old son. You couldn't have put it. I couldn't have put it finer myself, mate. You're absolutely spot on. The way that club is run at the moment is an absolute joke. And then Old School Gunner says you have all the stats on the screen. It's entertaining. Yeah, man, because I like people to see it. You know, you can give your opinion, but like to be able to see the stats, it helps people to make up their own mind. That's what I'm all about. I don't want to like force my opinion on people. I just want them to see the information and then be able to make up their own mind. And then Old School Gunner says, thanks, Warren. No, you're welcome, buddy. And then James Dunlop says, all right, Taib, big up. And then Taib says, hi, James. Hope you are well, bro. And Old School says, hi, Taib. And James Dunlop says, that Villa side in 2016 was horrendous. They went down that season. Yeah, they did, didn't they? They were awful. And evidence of that was that cup final because we absolutely destroyed them because we were way better than what we are now and they were far worse. And then James Dunlop says, I'm good, thanks, Taib. And Taib says, hi, Old School Gunner. And Taib says, James, you got Instagram. And then Old School Gunner says, welcome to the live shows. Warren's tearing it up. Yeah, man. I hope so. I hope people are enjoying it. And Taib says, Old School Gunner, do you have Insta? He does, mate. I know that. I've got Insta. And I'm not sure about James, though. But, yeah, you can find me on Insta with Warren's Teen Talk. And you can find Old School Gunner with his Old School Gunner. But I don't know about James. I'm not on any social media platforms, Taib. Fair play to you, buddy. Don't do it. Stay off it. It's an absolute minefield. I put on Insta the other day, like in front of my 12-year-old daughter, and I was looking at something. And then I went to the homepage or something, and then there was this picture of this blonde bird with her tits hanging out and whatnot. And I was like, ah! It was mad. And then Old School Gunner says, yes, I do. And Taib says, no worries, James. And Old School Gunner 2. Old School Gunner says, Ollie Watkins is going to nutmeg Benjamin. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate. He's quality. I wish we'd signed him. And Taib says, I hate Arteta's mug on people's thumbnail. Winds me up so much, laugh out loud. Mate, I will never, ever put a thumbnail of that man on my profile. The only time I'll ever do that is if I've got a picture of him with his head in his hands, crying his eyes out after he gets sacked. And then James Dunlop says, Giroud got a hat-trick, I believe, on that day. What, you talking about the cup final, James? Because I think that's right. I remember that was the game as well when it's the cup final that Alexis scored that absolute screamer when he hit it from about 40-odd yards outside the box. Old School Gunner says Benzema is in hot water. What's he done this time? Man, can't that fella stay out of trouble? What has he done? And James Dunlop says the 2016 game. I think you might be right, mate. I think you might be right. But I remember the game, the FA Cup final, because I remember Alexis scoring that absolute screamer, and we played in that really beautiful yellow kit that we used to have. The one that's one of my favourite kits. My favourite Arsenal kit of all time, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me about that, is the green and the blue one. The one that had the green shirt and the blue sleeves. And people, when I was a kid at school, and I loved it, people told me we looked like Wimbledon ball boys and ball girls with that kit. And Old School Gunner says big time. And Old School Gunner, so I'll send you the link, Warren. Yeah, please do, mate, because I want to know what he's been up to. And it's probably safer for us not to discuss that on here. And Taïf says, do you think the West Brom coach will have a similar impact as Thomas Frank if West Brom gain promotion? To be honest, I haven't seen anything of West Brom this season, but I've seen their results, and I've seen that they've been absolutely tearing it up in the Championship, and that Championship's a tough league as well, which is why I'm so surprised that Norwich has struggled so badly because they won the title and they won it at a canter last season, and I really thought that they would do quite well in the Premier League this year, but they've really struggled, and I just don't understand what's gone wrong. So yeah, I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see, but all I know is they've had some great results and they're tearing it up in the Championship. So yeah, possibly could, and it happens quite a lot when teams come up from the Championship. When they're in the Premier League, in their first season, they tear it up, and because they're an unknown quantity, and then the next season they struggle because teams have worked them out, and it happens in other leagues as well. I remember when I was going around watching Maidstone United when they got in the Football League. The first year they were in the Football League, they nearly got promoted because they got into the playoff final and lost to Cambridge United, and Dion Dublin knocked them out in the semi-final. But the following year, they were struggling. They ended up nearly getting relegated out of the 4th division because they were so poor. But it was because teams had worked out how to play them. James Donop says they lost to Swansea last night. West Brom, Bournemouth look the favourites to go up. There they do, mate, don't they? They do look favourites to go up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that, really. Right, so the team news. Obviously, Arsenal are out without Granit Xhaka because he's out for at least 3 months. Bukayo Saka, it's not certain whether he's going to be available for Friday night's match after that heavy challenge that he got from the Crystal Palace fella. But according to the Arsenal website, they're going to assess him today and possibly tomorrow in training to see how he is. And then for Aston Villa, Matty Cash who was forced off with a dead leg against Wolves. But he should be fine for the Emirates trip. So it looks like he might have recovered in time for that. But it's also uncertain as well whether Leon Bailey and Bertrand Traore will be available for selection for Friday night's match. But Morgan Sansom seems likely to be available to give Villa another option in midfield. So it looks like there's quite a lot of uncertainties in the game tomorrow night. So James says, oh, yeah, I've read that one. And James has come in with another chat saying, if Leon Bailey returns from injury, watch out for him. He ripped us to shreds before he got injured. Also, Danny Ings, you need to watch out for him. I think we need to watch out for all of them, mate, because I think they're a good side. I just think they're really inconsistent. And I think it might be because there's a few new players in the team and they're not necessarily used to each other. But I don't know. It's a bit tricky to know, really. But yeah, I think they've got a few dangerous players. I think the two fellas up front, Watkins and Ings and the guy that you just mentioned, Leon Bailey, they can do some serious damage. And Jack McGinn as well. I think he'll destroy our midfield. I really do. He's absolutely quality. He really is. And Taib says, James, do you expect Everton to get a Europa League place next season? Top 6 finish, maybe. I think they will. I think that's the minimum they can hope for. I think if I was Everton, as long as they can get this squad depth issue sorted out, I can't see any reason why they can't challenge for a Champions League spot. Because I don't think United are all that. I really don't. I think that I'm not convinced that they're going to finish in the top 4. James says, I don't think so, Taib. Our squad depth isn't strong enough to push us on, and we are hit with injuries to key players. So, yeah, that's a big problem. It needs to get addressed in January. He needs to go and make 3 or 4 signings, I believe, in key positions to back up what you've got when you've got your full squad available, because otherwise it's going to be a continuing problem for Everton. So this is a predicted lineup that I found online. I'm not sure what website it was, but it was one that I use now and again to help me do these previews. And they've gone obviously for Martinez in goal, and they think that they're going to play with a back 3 of Konza, Mings and Hauser. And then the midfield 5 of Cash, Louise, Sansom, McGinn and Target. And then up front, Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings. So, yeah, I mean, to me, I can see why they'd want to do that, because if they get control of that midfield, I think Arsenal are going to have a real difficult time of it, because our midfield is dire. I really believe that our midfield is absolute pony. It really is. So, I think if they manage to control the midfield, that they can definitely get something out of that game Friday night. And we need to make sure that we control the midfield. Right, so this is my predicted lineup for the Friday night's game against Villa. So in goal, I'm going with Ramsdale. I just like the way that he controls his defence, and he barks out his instructions. He's very, very vocal. And as I've said before, I like goalkeepers that do that are vocal and like shout and scream at people. I do. I really, really like it. I think it's really important. And he needs to make sure that he keeps doing it. And then the defence, I've got back 4 of Tierney, Gabriel, Benjamin Bunny and Tomiyasu. And then the midfield, I'm going for Pepe on the left and Maitland-Niles and Partey in the centre midfield positions and Martinelli. So I think there's just another chat coming. So let me just have a look at that. James says, I don't think so, Taib. Our squad, yeah, we've already read that. Old School Gunner says, predictions for tomorrow's games, lad. Yeah, I'll come into that in a minute, buddy. And so, yeah, the midfield, I've not put in Saka because I'm not convinced he's going to play. And I'm not putting in Odegaard or Smith Rowe because I thought they were weak against Palace. They kept giving the ball away and they got muscled off the ball too easily. That's why I want Maitland-Niles, because he's got a bit of a physical presence about him. And I really like Ainsley. I really do. I think he's quality. The thing I like about him is that he's defensively strong and he can play in a few different positions. And I want to see what he can do in that centre midfield position. And I think he could, with the right coach, he could become a really good defensive midfielder. Because I don't think Partey is a defensive midfielder. I've never felt that. I don't think he played as defensive midfielder. when he was at Atletico Madrid. I might be wrong, but I don't think he did. I think he was more like a sort of like a box to box type midfielder. But I don't know. I'd have to have a word with some of my friends in Madrid and see what they can tell me. But I'm not convinced that he was. And then on the right, I put Martinelli. Actually, I think I might swap those two over. I think I'd rather have Martinelli on the right and Pepe on the left. The reason I put Pepe on the left was because I think he's played better when he's played on the left than he does when he's on the right. The fact of the matter remains, though, he was involved. He played a big part in both of our goals the other night against Crystal Palace. So I'm beginning to think, I'm thinking that he might just suddenly explode into form on Friday night. And Martinelli, I think I want to see him play. I think, he's got talent to burn, and I just think he's being wasted. And that's why I want I've decided that I'm going for a 4-4-2. I want us to play a 4-4-2 formation. None of this bloody 4-2-3-1 or 4-3, one knicker up your arse and one out. I want us to play 4-4-2 and see what happens. And then I know people are going to say it's outdated, but I just want to see what happens, because the formation, that 4-1-4-1 formation that we've used at Burnley and against Brighton and again against Crystal Palace, it's not working. So, because we keep surrendering possession, and we can't keep doing that and letting teams overrun us in midfield like that. So that's why I've gone for that. And the other reason I want Martinelli in the team, because I know he's going to track back and he's not just going to stand idly around and not contribute anything defensively like my man Pepe does. And then up front, obviously, I'm going for the two big guns, Aubameyang and Lacazette. I don't understand why people think that the two of them can't play together up front as the two, right? Emery did it, and he had them banging in goals for fun. So I don't understand what this notion is that the two of them can't play together as a pair. So, and then we got some more chats, and I think tomorrow's game will be a draw. All depends on what Arsenal turns up or what Aston Villa turns up. It's tough to call it. Yeah, it is, man. It is. I think it depends about whether or not we can get control of that midfield or not. Because if we allow their midfield to get control of the midfield, we're in trouble, because McGinn will rip us to pieces. And I wanted us to sign McGinn. I think he's quality. Mike James Dunlop Bassett says, Mike Bassett settings 4-4-2. Exactly, mate. Oh, excellent. I'm glad that you like Mike Bassett. I love that film. It's absolutely superb. Yeah, because we're too lightweight in midfield, and we're too sparse in numbers. I want to get numbers in that midfield, so that's why I've done it. And then we got a chat here from a guy by the name of Jonathan SC. Hello, Warren. I expect us to lose. Villa's midfield will overrun us, and that's my fear, mate. That is my fear. If we play like 4-1-4-1 nonsense, we will get overrun, and Jack McGinn will absolutely destroy us, as will the other midfielders that they've got. So that's why I wanted to go 4-4-2. The Mike Bassett settings, as James quite rightly put it. So, and Jonathan, I don't think I've seen you in my chat before. So if you haven't, welcome, and I hope you're enjoying the video, mate. And James says, hi, Jonathan. Big up, mate. Yeah, so welcome, buddy. I hope that you're enjoying it. And you're enjoying the interaction in the chat room with the other people that are here. James Dunlop says, if Partey is on his own again, he'll struggle. You can't expect Odegaard and Smith Rowe to play deep. No, they won't, because it's not in their nature to do that. And the other thing, I'm convinced that they're being told not to. I think Arteta thinks that Partey can do it on his own, and I think it's because it shows what a crap coach he is. And Jonathan says, big up, James. So if you haven't done it already, please make sure you put a like on the video, guys. And please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And please make sure you pass it around for me. That would be fantastic if you can do that. So without further ado, let's move on again. And so my prediction for Friday night's game is I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think we'll scrape a draw out of this one. Then that's me being optimistic, because I think he reminds me a bit, Arteta, of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in that when he's like next on the line, that he'll pull a result out of the bag, and I think this is what's going to happen. Because I was listening to what Kenny Kem was saying the other night, and he said that there was a lot of frustration in the ground on Monday night, and people were getting really agitated with the team. So if it continues like that, then it's going to start filtering down to Arteta and to Edu and all the rest of it. And so it's you, because we need to put pressure on them to sort this mess out. But I can't see us winning the game, and it's either going to be a draw or Villa will win. And it all depends on whether or not we don't allow Villa to get control of that midfield or not. Because if we do, then we're going to get beat. It's simple as that. So, yeah. So now I just want to give a shout out to some other YouTubers. There's the Old School Gunner, who's in the chat room. It's an excellent Arsenal YouTuber. He does brilliant Arsenal content. And he's currently in Caracas, but I think he's coming back soon to Europe. He's a massive, passionate Arsenal fan, and he, like I say, does daily content. So go and please check him out and put a like on his videos, and please subscribe to him and check out his playlist as well. It's brilliant content. And then there's the 3 Pointers TV YouTube channel. They went to the game the other night against Crystal Palace, and it's 3 guys who are friends, and they present Arsenal content. And again, they're really good. They've got excellent content, really good guys, and I like them a lot. And then last but not least, we've got the Arsenal. Sorry, not last but not least. Then we've got Arsenal Alex. He's another gooner who does excellent Arsenal content, and he's on his own doing that. And yeah, he's a great guy. I love his content, and I think he's a great person. So make sure you go and check him out, show him some love, subscribe to his channel, put a like on his video and all that stuff. And then last but not least, we've got the one and the only, the Claude and the Bansta's channel. Now, this is my favourite channel on YouTube. I absolutely love it. Because you've got 2 guys who present this channel. One's called Diesel and the other one's called Terry. And when they're on stream together, you can always guarantee it's going to end up in a massive tear up, because you've got Diesel who can't stand Mikel Arteta, and he doesn't think he's the right man for the job. And then you've got Terry, who thinks he's the greatest coach in world football, and the 2 of them just go at each other like cat and dog. It's hilarious. It's popcorn and beer time when this kicks off. It really is. So yeah, so big them up. Make sure you go and check them out. subscribe to their channels, put likes on the videos and all that stuff. And yeah, so that's the end of my preview, guys. And anyone who's watching this on playback, please put comments in about the game if you're watching it after the game's ended. Tell me what you thought about the game and what you thought about the result, what you thought about the two teams' approach to the game, all that sort of stuff. And if you're watching it before the game, please put in your predictions for the game as well. I'll be really interested to read all of that. And also, those of you in the chat, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think the score will be? James is going for a 1-1 draw as well. It wouldn't surprise me if you scored late on and some of your fans will overreact again. Yeah, definitely, mate. That's what I think too. The only thing is that about it, the only positive thing not positive. The only thing I'm going to say about the fact that they're scoring late on, it shows to me that there's something in the team that they're not willing to give up, and that's a good thing. But this coach, I'm sorry, he is not the man. He's not the man, and we need to get someone else in because I think another coach will be able to get far more out of this team than what Arteta is. Jonathan SC is going 2-1 Villa. Yeah, I could see that happening, mate. Either 2-1, 2-0, something like that. I think they could win comfortably. If we surrender the midfield to them, we will get battered, that's for sure. And James Dunlop says, I'm surprised they haven't renamed it Claude and the Foundations. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that sounds like a 70s disco band or something. Claude and the Foundations. That would be absolutely hilarious. Them all coming on stage with white suits and like sequins all over it and going, yeah, so that would be absolutely hilarious, wouldn't it? So, yeah, I just think that it's going to be a tough night for Arsenal. I really do. And I think if we approach the game in the right way and get men in the midfield, we can get something out of the game. But if we don't, then I think Villa will batter us. But having said that, Villa are really up and down at the moment, and that's why I've sort of plumped for a draw. I saw the way that they capitulated against Wolves the other day, and if I was a Villa fan, I'd be worried about that. I really would. And Tony Blackwell's come into the chat saying, good afternoon, Warren. Hi, Tony. How are you, mate? I've just finishing my review of the Arsenal-Aston Villa match. And basically, I've just said that we need to put bigger emphasis on getting control of the midfield and not allowing ourselves to get overrun. And then hopefully we can get something out of the game. But otherwise, no, we're gonna get done. And James says, good afternoon, Tony. Right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up now. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks very much for coming in. Thanks to Jonathan and to James Dunlop, Tony Blackwell, and for the old school gunner. Thank you for coming in and chatting with me. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to come back tomorrow, do a preview of the weekend's matches. So that should be interesting. I hope you all have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow when I come on and do the Premier League previews. So thanks a lot for coming in, and take care, and I look forward